The Leica Q3 was announced in May of 2023 and I went to Leica HQ in Wetzlar to have hands-on with the camera the day it got introduced. And a few days later I picked up my own copy of the camera. Now, after using the Q3 for almost 10 months, I'd like to give you my opinion on the camera after shooting it in many different environments in many different countries. Just in case you don't know, the Leica Q3 is my main camera for street photography. I've been using various versions of the Q series since 2015. For me, these are simply the best cameras for the job, since there isn't anything like it out there.
So instead of making a traditional review video, I want to give you my opinion about this camera after using it for a while and shooting it pretty much all over the world. Because this camera has a few annoying things, and these are the things I want to talk about in this video. You're surprised that this camera has some annoying things about it? Well, which camera doesn't?
And also in this video we will explore some of the incredible camera stores here in Hong Kong. So let's get started.
Oh my god. The first thing I want to address here that cannot be fixed in firmware because it's baked into the sensor, and that is rolling shutter. You see, when you use electronic shutter on this camera, and there's movement in your frame or you move the camera, you will introduce rolling shutter and it looks very ugly. To a point where I would say that the electronic shutter on this camera is not really usable. It was different on the older Qs, like on the Q1, on the original Q, I had no issues. On the Q2 monochrome, no issues whatsoever, but on this one, it's very noticeable. And I have this, on this camera, I have the electronic shutter turned off, so I am only using the mechanical shutter that goes up to 1/2000th. It's not a big deal for me because I shoot flash a lot and I usually stop down the lens, so I rarely exceed the 2000th of a second. But for some of you that could maybe become an issue if you want to shoot wide open and it's very bright, you're pretty much forced to use ND to compensate for that. Alright, point number 2, and that is how can I explain it, or what can I call it? Let me just explain. So when I shoot in low light in the dark and I stop down the lens to, let's say, f5.6 or f8, and the shutter speed is maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of a second, as soon as you press the shutter button, or not to take a photo but just to activate the camera basically, it would stop down the lens to the set aperture, and then everything on the screen becomes very laggy and it's super annoying.
This is only an issue in low light environments where you would need to crank up the ISO very high and still would be getting slow shutter speeds even when shooting wide open at f1.7. However, when I shoot flash at night, I typically stop down the lens to f8, so the issue can occur more easily.
A few days ago I had the chance to try out the new Leica SL3, and with M lenses attached, I tried if the camera will do the same, but no, it's not. Even if you stop down the lens to 5.6, half pressing the shutter, it's not introducing any lagginess into the image that you can see on the screen or on the viewfinder, which is a lot better. So I don't know if this can be fixed in firmware, I don't think so. But if it does, then Leica, please fix it because it's really annoying.
None of my other cameras are behaving in the same fashion. Maybe try out your camera and leave a comment below the video if it gets laggy or not. And mention of course which camera you are using. Set the camera to aperture priority f8, ISO 6400 and try it in a dimly lit environment. And now, let's check out some of the awesome camera shops in the Mong Kok area. And let's see what they have in stock and what the prices are. For the first location, just look up best camera and you will easily find the place.
there's a lot of watch shops here. So if you're into watches, you might find something here. But there's another camera shop over there. I went there yesterday already, so let's check it out.
Just around the corner you'll find the next place called All Good Friend Camera.
Quick! Hello? Hello?
Now it was time for lunch and back to the issues of the Leica Q3.
Now, while I'm waiting for my food to arrive, let's address another thing that is a little bit annoying. I mean, it's good and bad at the same time. It's the tiltable screen they introduced.
The tilt screen is a welcomed addition to the Q3. Even though it is very sturdy, it has some limitations and you can only tilt it up from the bottom. There's basically no access from the side, which would make it a bit easier to tilt the screen, especially when in a hurry. On the brand new SL3, it is luckily way better implemented. If you're wondering about the half case I'm using on my Q3, it is made by Overvat and is very high quality and it helps to protect the camera. If by using this code here you can save 10% on any purchase, their bags or their half cases on their website.
Cheers.
I was recommended another great camera shop called Photopia, which has a lot of rather high tier Leica items, but there's also a lot of other cool camera gear to check out.
Hello.
This Leica MP Hammertone is so lovely. I'd love to own one, that's for sure. The Contax 645 is rather expensive, but it comes with 8 lenses, 2 film bags and a flash.
In case you're here in Hong Kong, I think you should definitely check out Photopia. And if you want to find a place, just look for the Ramada Hotel. It's on the opposite side. There's this. Look for this entrance here, and it's on the 5th floor. Beautiful place. They had some black paint, Leica M2 and 3s, but obviously they're not real M3 black paints. They're repainted. But maybe there's another place here where we can find the real deal. So let's go there and let's check it out.
Now let's check out the place to go to if you're a Leica shooter. The place is called F22 and has some crazy inventory. Cameras that you would usually never see out in the wild. All the black paint cameras in here are originals and no repaints, which reflects in the prices that these cameras run for. The holy grail in here has to be the black paint M3 with the lens and all the paperwork. The serial numbers are all matching, which makes this extremely rare.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alright, now it's time to talk more about the Q3 and I will let you know the last few things that I don't like about this camera. And there's one thing, it's a major thing, but you'll see. Another thing that bugs me about this camera, it's not a major thing, but it can be frustrating from time to time, is when you want to review the photos and you're outside, it's very bright. So I turn on the camera, I press the play button, and I want to look through the viewfinder to see the image, but nothing is showing up. because for whatever reason it takes a few seconds for the viewfinder to work when you review the photos. The camera was turned off. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's due to the processor or whatever. Once in a while it gets a little bit annoying, especially when to show somebody the photo right away and it's not working. So it's not a deal breaker, but I wish that would be fixed.
It seems like Leica can read my thoughts, because after filming this video, the issue got fixed with a firmware update. Now, please also fix the other issues. So, back to the video.
So now let's talk about the things that really bother me, because there's especially one thing, man, but you'll see.
It was one of those overcast days. In Hong Kong, the weather wasn't really on my side, but hey, it could have been worse.
Alright guys, check out this Volkswagen Bulli here behind me with the Austrian license plate. Looks kind of interesting. So let's talk about the video features in this camera and how they are annoying, because they were praising this camera that will be good as a video camera as well when it came out. And in theory it is, because it shoots 8K, it has better autofocus than before, so in theory it should be a better video camera as well. So I thought, but there's no microphone jack.
It has been said that there will be an audio adapter for the USB-C port coming, but so far nothing.
Now, the biggest thing that is really annoying about this shooting video is when you, for instance, I want to shoot at 25 frames, so I set the shutter speed to 1/50th. So on the dial you have 1/60th, 1/25th, and so on and so forth. So
when the camera is set to 160 shutter speed, you can use the dial to go to 1/50th. However, when you turn the camera off and back on, it jumps back to 1/60th. But when you set the shutter speed dial to 1/30th while being in video mode, the camera will automatically go to 1/50th, because it is the slowest shutter speed you can shoot video on the Q3. Well, this also got addressed with a firmware update. Not the issue itself, but the workaround. Because now, when setting the dial to 1/30th, the shutter speed when filming will not stay at 1/50th, but will simply jump back to 1/30th when turning the camera off and back on. I wish you could set the camera to shutter angle in video, and every time you switch to video mode, there wouldn't be any need to think about that.
Why can the camera have not separate video and photography settings? I don't understand. I mean, should be in here. There's a separate menu for it. So why does this camera does not remember the settings? I don't understand it. Also, when you press record, there's a red frame around the display. It will indicate that it's recording.
However, when you look closely, you can see that the camera actually starts to record a little later than indicated. You can notice the moment when it records, because there is a short lag visible.
But there's another thing that is way worse than this, because this is also not the end of the world. But there's one thing that really bothers me, so let's talk about that. Alright, let's talk about this one thing that really bothers me about this camera. To be honest, I had the same issue on the Q2 monochrome already, and it's related to shooting video. So the camera, if you want to shoot video, there's 3 ways basically how to change into video mode.
Firstly, you can go to the quick menu and switch it over to video, and then you're automatically in video mode. But you could also press one of the function buttons, which lets you by default toggle between photo and video. Now there is a third way to trigger video mode, and that is by swiping in on the screen from the right side.
The problem with that is it happens by accident, and it happened already on the Q2 monochrome, but not as frequent as on this camera. On this camera I had days where it happened to me 5 or 6 times in one day. And it's really annoying, because you will miss out on a lot of shots when it happens, because you don't realize suddenly you're in video mode. So you press the shutter, you think you're taking a photo, but you're not. You're just starting to record. If you want to go back to photo mode, it takes some time, because you have to turn off the shooting, end the shooting or the video recording, and then switch it over, and it's so annoying. And I don't know why there's not an option in the menu to switch this off, because it's super frustrating and super annoying.
On the Q2 monochrome, I used a thumbs up, and that helped to get rid of the issue, because the screen is a little bit further away from your body when the camera's around your neck. but the screen on the Q3 protrudes further out, and I think that might be the reason the issue occurs more frequently on the Q3. It would be nice if there would be an option to turn the swiping features off.
So, Leica, please fix this, because otherwise I absolutely love this camera. It's my favorite camera. There's a lot of things that I really like about this camera, but these I will address in the next video. So this video was all about ranting about the camera, what's wrong with the camera. I still love this camera because there's nothing on the market like this. But you will see in the video where I talk about why I like this camera so much, what I love about this, why I will still shoot this and nothing else.
For all the images you can see in this video, I've used my brand new Lightroom presets that I've been testing out over the last few months, and they make it very easy to edit. For one RAW file, it typically takes me less than 20 seconds. Check them out, the link will be in the video description.
Alright guys, I'm signing out here from Hong Kong. It's soon getting dark, and I think the view here will look really nice when it's dark, because then it doesn't matter that it's overcast. Alright guys, see you in the next one.